Good day to all of my family. God bless you. Hope you're being blessed on today. Welcome to the Hope TV. I want you to know that even in times of difficulty, this is still a day that God has given us. And because of that, we ought to rejoice and be glad in it. Hey, you tuned in today to receive a daily dose of hope. You know, we're all hope dealers here at the Hope TV. I want to thank you for tuning in to get your daily dose of hope. We're excited. We started this platform back in March just as a cursory way of kind of connecting with our local church congregation. March 31st was the day that this became an official platform. And from March 31st until today, my goodness, we've had almost 20 million views of our content via our cumulative platforms. It's mind-blowing to see those who've tuned in through Apple TV, Roku TV, Twitch, Amazon, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, the House of Hope ATL.com website, the edewithsmith.org website, those who viewing through the House of Hope Atlanta app. However you're viewing, it's certainly a privilege and an honor to have you part of the Hope TV family. And if you've not yet followed us at the Hope TV, we have several ways that you can do that. Of course, you can follow the Hope TV on Instagram and on Twitter. You also can follow us on Facebook. So if you've not yet followed the Hope TV, brand new platform, please do so now. Please do so now. Go ahead and follow us, Hope TV, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Let me also take this moment. I'd be remiss if I did not give a shout out to the sponsor of this program, Faith Social, which is a new platform that allows people to come together from all walks of life for fellowship, for conversation, for prayer, for worship, to journal person's feelings. So I want you to hold on a minute. We're going to have a commercial at the end of this broadcast about Faith Social. If you've not yet signed up for this free, powerful virtual community, please do so. So thank our sponsors, Faith Social, for being a part of the Hope TV family. Listen, today you've tuned in to one of our highest rated shows. It's called Single in the City. Our first Single in the City show aired on March 24th. And from March 24th until today, this thing is really taking wings. We wanted this to be for our singles who are 40 and under, but now I got 60-year-olds who watch this too. You'd be surprised how many flirtatious 60-year-olds watch this show as well, Single in the City. So however, whatever your age or stage is, because age is nothing but a number, it's only a matter of a mind. The great Negro pitcher from the Negro League, Satchel Paige, once asked the question, how old would you be if you didn't know how old you are? So if you're 30, if you're 60, just thank you for tuning in. Hope that you were blessed and inspired. Listen, last week's show was so explosive that we had to bring our guests back for part two. We've been getting the calls. It was called Ladies Edition, the latest hour. And the ladies just took over the platform and just showed out in incredible ways. And I'm going to invite them back to share with us. I'm going to introduce them briefly. If you missed last week, whatever you do, go back and check out Single in the City from last week. They brought the fire. They didn't come to play any games. These are some smart and some stable and sassy sisters who brought their A game last week. We couldn't even get through all the conversations. So I'm excited to have them back here with us today. Listen, if you're watching through a platform right quickly, that will allow you to subscribe. That will allow you to like or to comment or share this link. Would you please do so? If you're watching through YouTube, you can subscribe to the page of the Hope TV, House Hope Atlanta, Dr. E. Smith. So please do that. We're excited about that. We're almost at 50,000 viewers on the House Hope Atlanta YouTube channel. I'm over 60,000 on mine. So we're just blown. That thing is growing. So keep subscribing, like, comment, and right now, do me a favor. Find 5 other singles that you would like and share this with them. This helps us with our algorithms tremendously. Share it, share it, share it, share it, share it, so people can get this good inspiration, because the ladies, Black Girl Magic, ladies rule the world. We're excited. Listen, we have 3 ladies who are here with us today. One is from Mobile, Alabama. She lives in Atlanta, and she's doing the doggone thing. Her and her 3 kids are thriving, doing well. We want to thank God for Kia Martin, who's back with us from last week. What's up, Kia? How are you?
Hi, good evening, guys.
Glad to have you here. Glad to have you. We also have back with us Kia McSwain, who's out in Denver, Colorado. She's doing the doggone thing as well. Hello, Kia. How are you?
Hey everybody, I'm well. Thanks for having me back.
Glad, glad to have you. And then last but not least, Deidre Williams, who is from Florida, who is in Atlanta now. Deidre, what's going on with you? How are you?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Great, glad to have you. So we got two kids and a Deidre who are back with us. Last week we got so many positive reflections and comments from the broadcast that we invited you back and I just want and from the show last week. So I want to kind of get right into it because one of the things I didn't pick up from last week that I think is a great conversation. Kia Martin, you're from Mobile, you live in Atlanta. Kia McSwain, you're from Mississippi, moved to Atlanta, and now you're in Denver past 2 years. And Deidre, you're from Florida, and you now live in Atlanta. I want to kind of ask this question. How has it been in the single life, or how are you adapting to living in a state when all your family is in another place? So I'll start with you, Deidre. If you answer that question, I want to hear from each of you. How are you adapting to being away from home?
In regards to being away from family, um, let's see. I just pretty much, I'm pretty sociable, but I'm also introvert at the same time. I primarily go to work. I made friends at work, but I think it was a good transition. Some of my friends did move here, and because I am pretty sociable, it was just easy for me to kind of like, go out and meet people. I go to like young professional events, and that's just pretty much how I network in the city. So I think it has been pretty easy for me.
Do you miss home?
No.
I got you. All right. All right. All right. Kia, you lived in Mississippi, Hattiesburg, moved to Atlanta. Now you've been in Denver. How's it been the past 2 years being in Denver away from home?
I miss my family. I miss my family a lot. We are a very close knit family. We enjoy gatherings, family events, supporting one another, just getting together for intimate time. And so I miss that, and I have to do a lot of that virtually. And I try to make some time to go home. The current situation is making that hard, but we always want to be around family.
That's good. Kia Martin, here you are. You are with Mobile, you and your children. How has that been? You miss home. How are you handling that space?
Pastor, I actually have family here. So I was lucked up and was able to have a support system that was actually kin to me. And then I also have adoptive family. My daughter cheers, so I have my cheer family. I have my church family, my GTR family. And then of course I have my work family. So similar to D, I'm very sociable, so I don't meet strangers often. And when you vibe with some good people, you just make them family. They're your sis, they're your bro.
That we had I asked you a lot of questions last time, and I could tell all y'all had some attitudes with me last time because we didn't have no warm up last time. We came out the gate swinging hard, and really it took the whole show for y'all to kind of forgive me based on the questions we were asking y'all last week. And I apologize. I just was following the instructions of my producers. So just in case you didn't recognize it, I just asked you a few lightweight questions then. So we're gonna get right back into the fire and close out with some fun as well. But with that being said, seriously, all of you being from different states and different stages in life now, the question I would like to ask, and I'll start with you, Kid May Swain, is one of the questions we had from last week is in terms of your dating life and how you view men, how was your relationship with your father? And how is that relationship? How is it? And has that relationship impacted you in any way in terms of dating and how you view men, positively or negatively? I ask you that, and I start with you, Kia Martin, then I go to Deidre lastly. So I want all of you to answer that question if you don't mind. Your relationship with your dad, how's that affected you in any way in terms of dating and how you view men?
All right, I had an amazing relationship with my daddy. I am a daddy's girl, a huge daddy's girl, and a lot of what I don't tolerate now in relationships is because he suggested I don't. He is a very smart man, and I definitely take his advice, and I definitely take seriously any advice that he's given or provided. Um, I think when I look at men today and I look at them for what I would like to see them as, um, a lot of those characteristics I pull from my dad, but a lot of them I don't want them to uh, mimic my dad. My mom and dad were married for 20 plus years, and my dad cheated. He was the cheater. And so I think that knowing that my dad was a cheater has affected me in some ways, for sure. He was a great father and is a great father, but knowing in his marriage, his faults, I think that is why I am really, really dealing with um, trying to work on tolerating men for who they are and men for who they're growing into being, if that makes sense.
Kia Martin, let me ask you the same question. That's a very deep answer. Thanks for sharing that. Kia, your relationship with your dad, how has it affected you? Because I'm hearing a lot of people a lot of young people and young men they are affected by a lot of ways and affects them in their relational lives. So, your kid Martin, relationship with your dad, how's that impacted you in terms of your dating?
Um, my story is similar to my Kia twin. I love my father dearly. I am the only girl of three brothers and the baby. So imagine that. But it had its side effects. I was like Scrappy Doo. I was like, "Where you at? I'm here. I'm trying to get at it." So I have learned from my father to be a softer woman in my 30s, whereas I had to learn in my 20s that I didn't have to be so tomboyish, so independent. So if my daddy taught me how to do this, I can handle this. My daddy taught me how to do this, I can handle this. My brother, who I don't need to call them, I can handle it. And that was my approach to a lot of things. And I'm learning now that I still want to have a better, I don't want to use the word soft, it sounds so feminine. I want to have um a more mutual agreement and relationship with a male than my previous relationships with males. And so yes, my father and my brothers have a lot of influence on that, and my growth as a woman.
Great. Deidre Williams, I want to ask you that question too. Your relationship with your dad, that look says a whole lot right there. Yeah, I'm gonna be quiet so you can talk, cause your look, a picture paints 1,000 words, and if looks could kill, Mama would say that look that would put somebody on death row. So tell me about your relationship with your dad. Has it affected you positively or negatively? Share that, cause that look says a whole lot right there.
Well, unlike the ladies, I think my relationship with my dad might be kind of, more so like a lot of people's story. My grandmother raised me, so my parents were around, but not directly in the home. So from what I recall, as a child, I would spend the night with my dad, be with him here and there. But I do feel like as a child, I always looked at my dad as being like, sometimey. Like if I needed something, it was like, okay, well, it was never 100%. It was always, okay, well, I can give you what I have. And then when I start getting older, when you start talking to your parents and you're like, oh, dang, they really didn't have it to give. So then you kind of start feeling kind of sad. But the child version of me, I felt like, it was never 100%. So as I start getting older in my dating life, I always feel like I have to do everything for myself. So I think in regards to how it maybe affected me, like even now in dating, like I mentioned last time, I don't really know how to let a man be a man because I feel like I have to be both roles because I played both roles so long. And then also too, I don't really expect anything from people and men in general too, but I don't really expect anything from people. I always feel like, well, they probably gonna let me down anyway, so why am I even asking? So I think that's
Wow.
how it probably affected me. Um, in regards to when I'm dealing with men, I already expect them to let me down at some point. So it's kind of a bad viewpoint, but that's just the reality of it.
So you have real low. So almost like in your hurt to keep from being disappointed, you keep your expectations low and just do it yourself.
Pretty much.
So what do
Or
you?
you
So
don't
what
have
do you?
expectations at all.
What's that, Kia?
Or you don't have expectations at all.
Well, let me ask this question because I think that raises another point. Um, because Kia, I know we were talking earlier, and I hate we got so far into this conversation. You said you had a conversation. This is Kia McSwain. You said this earlier. And I thought it was, and before we came on the show, I thought it was just it's fascinating to me that you and some of your girlfriends have been talking about should you make yourselves available for dating, or does it even matter at this point? Should it even be a focus? Does it even matter? And I think that kind of connects with what DJ just talked about. Like when you've been disappointed or when you've been hurt, it's like, is it even worth it to even open myself up? Can you expound upon that, Kia McSwain? And I want to hear from Kia Martin and you, Deidre, on that. I mean, I want you to mention that
Absolutely.
conversation again. Yeah, please.
Absolutely. So to expound, like you said, a little bit on that. So a friend and myself were having a conversation about 2 days ago, and she asked me if I felt like it was worth it to continue dating or continue meeting men, and then having them do the slightest or smallest thing to annoy me, or um, the smallest things that I know deep down, right, bother me, and that I shouldn't have to compromise. But it's like looking in the mirror, saying, okay, if I have these expectations, or if they're so high, right, maybe I should just not date at all, And if a man is for me, then God will send him to me. God will tell him exactly where I am, give him my GPS location or something. But what we concluded at the end of that conversation is that, more than opening ourselves up for um, all of the things that we don't want, or the things that we've been fighting against for years in terms of relationships and men, why not focus on ourselves? That's where I want to hear a little bit more from the other Kia. I think the key is focusing on ourselves, and that might push men away even more, because we already know men have a problem with the fact that we're independent and we can take care of ourselves. So then when you take a step further and you start talking about ignoring them totally and just focusing on ourselves, then it really becomes a problem.
Wow.
So it's almost
Wow.
like a lose lose, almost, not
Lose
quite, but
lose.
almost.
Kia Martin?
I'm just saying she hit the nail on the head. It's one of those situations where you feel like, do I slight myself or do I restrain who I am to be available for someone? But in doing that, eventually the puppy love wears off and the true blue has to show. And then it's like a whole nother person, because I've been suppressing what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it, how I want to do it to be acceptable in the dating world. And it's worse than trying to get dressed up and hit the streets, as my grandma would say, circuit girls. So at some point, you just like, what darn, if you can't go to Bella Noches, then where can you go?
And it's upsetting me and my homegirls that we can't find
All
a
of
decent
us.
man.
All of us. It's upsetting all of us.
So you can't find a good man. That's
But
that how you
but
feel?
should we be finding one? Because I was told we're not, we're to be sought. Like
Mm-hmm.
I am Southern culture tells you you're to be seen, not heard. I I came out the womb breaking that law. And then, as you continue to become who you are, your personality, your environments, your experiences mold you, then either you go one way or another. I have a good friend who we can go into a bar and a gentleman automatically say y'all are some attractive women, but they flock to her because she's quiet. And when you say y'all some attractive women, okay, so what's so attractive about us? That's my response. Oh, she talking. Let me talk to that one.
All right. Well, a couple of things. I don't know if all men are intimidated by independent women. I do know there are some very weak guys, some very small-minded guys. I do think I do think that sometimes some men are maybe afraid of rejection as much. Um, but I don't know if being afraid of rejection is the same thing as intimidated. Um, I think all of you are strong-willed. Let me hear from you, D, before I go any further. So, um, what are your thoughts on that? Have you felt like dating was just wasting your time?
Those are currently my current thoughts. I was just talking to somebody, and it's like, right now the way I'm feeling, I'm just feeling like I don't want to talk to nobody else in Atlanta. Nobody. It's purposeless. Nobody wants a relationship. So I'm just gonna pack up my little bag and just wait until I get a job somewhere else, and then I'm gonna try somewhere else to see if maybe it's a different batch of men out there in another state that might be ready for a real life relationship. Because in Atlanta, they ain't ready for it. So let me just stop even trying with these men. I ain't even waste my time play no games with them. I'm just content, do my work, listen to my scriptures, read my devotionals, and just sit here until it's
I
time for me
just,
to
yeah,
leave.
y'all sound so fatalistic and so. I mean, it make me want. I don't even smoke cigarettes. But I need a black and mild listen to this conversation because I mean,
Give
to
Me
me a
too,
new
say,
sis.
right now.
I
Add it
mean,
up.
y'all, you're 32, 33, 34. So it's like you're giving up so quickly. Do you think are you comparing to somebody else? Because you're not no old hags that's has been in your time. You're all in your childbearing years, got plenty of time left. You're doing things in your
Childbear.
career, each one of you. So are y'all being fair to yourselves with this kind of conversation? I mean, Kim, explain you had that conversation with your girlfriend. Don't you think that's kind of boom and doom and I don't know. It just seems like that's too soon to be kind of having this kind of conversation.
I think is gloom and doom is being unhappy. Gloom and doom is dealing with somebody that's just dealing with you just because it's something to do. Gloom and doom is having to worry about whether or not the man that you love and the man that you've been with for 5 to 10 years is cheating on you. Gloom and doom is having to worry about whether the man that you with is even interested in women at all. I think gloom and doom could be being with somebody that has no real intention on changing who he is. Gloom and doom is somebody that don't believe in Christ, and you ask them ahead of time and they say no, but you think you can change them. So all these things I speak on are things that I have firsthand experience with, and just things that I dare not overlook anymore. I care so much about me at this point in life that I'm willing to sacrifice. I mean, what am I sacrificing to be happy with all of that? It's important to look out for self at some point in life.
So where are the men? Where are you meeting? What
We
what what
asking
what's
you,
the best?
Pastor.
You tell us. They in the
Not in
church.
Atlanta.
Please. Please send us a text
We need
message.
to, we need
We
to
won't
set
tell
up
everybody.
speed dating. You got anybody you
You
can
need to call the
recommend?
man out to the altar. You need to do an altar call.
Come on now.
Just like watch night, and we're gonna be there. And
We
I'm
You
a
gonna
know,
be there.
time.
I will say this. Man, we mature at a snail's pace, and I think the challenge that each of you will have, and that a lot of women like yourselves will have, is that when you are focused, when you are independent, when you've been able to be educated and independent, you know, that you mature at a much faster pace, and sometimes it may take, a guy longer to catch up where you are just maturity wise. And I think that can be problematic in terms of how many of us are raised. And I respect the fact that you're focused on your careers. I just looking from my perspective, what I've seen, and I just know each of you have a very, very bright future, even relationship wise. And I hate hearing you talk like this because of where you are at this stage, but I'm telling you, it's not gonna be this way always. Kia Mark.
I have a counter statement. You said we're focused on our careers, but I feel like we don't have a choice but to be focused on our careers. Otherwise, we sit and we're watching our friends and our cousins and strangers pop up with their engagement proposals. Today, Pastor, today, two of my friends were engaged. My good friend, who is a little bit younger than me, she called me and said, "Are we the last ones?" I said, "It looks like that, sis. It looks like it's just us. We got each other." I mean, literally, we all were summer camp counselors together, and everyone except for two. That's 20 counselors. That's 18. That's 18 people that are engaged and or married or going on their second marriage. Second.
Well,
It's kind of
I,
disheartening sometimes. And I don't mean to interrupt you, Pastor, but it's kind of disheartening because you do like people look up to me and like, I just can't wait. I want you to find love so bad. I feel like my daddy, he got pressure on me, and it's like, you think I don't want a relationship either? Like, I don't want to just be out here playing the field. Like, I want to be able to, be on Instagram with my dude too, or be on Facebook with my dude too. I don't want to just be sitting back in the cut and just being like, single forever. That's not my desire. And it's kind of like sad, but you kind of gotta like put your energy elsewhere. So, whereas most successful women, they put their energy into work. Like, yeah, I take pride out of knowing that I'm scoring real high on my performance evaluations at work, or I know I can excel in my job. So that's like gives me a little bit of like joy because I can't find it in a man.
so you're independent, but you focus more on your careers because the relationship is not the dating piece is not quite where it is yet. So
It's something that
so
you
is
don't
that
even
how?
control.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you handling the coronavirus pandemic? I want to ask each of you that question. How are you navigating the single life with all this coronavirus stuff? What do you do during these times? Start with you, Kia Mark.
Oof. Well, I have tried dating apps. They are inadequate, in my opinion. Um, I'm not anywhere to happen upon people. And then when I am during this pandemic, you just don't know. Things are so uncertain at this point. It you're so hesitant. I am. I can't speak for everyone else, but I'm just hesitant to even who wants to date during the quarantine? Like I've seen it, I saw it, I know it's trending. I saw some guy said that he was flying out to Las Vegas to meet someone he met on TikTok. I'm I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for them. Those sound like really nice Hallmark stories, but they never happened to me. And I don't know. I have other people I have to be concerned with. So I'm not at the house by myself, such as Deidre or Key. So I have a 5-year old, a 10-year old, and a 12-year old. And even though that age group is not being affected, they're carriers. My mother has lupus. My dad's legally blind. I can't, my responsibility levels, I can't just take those chances. I can't wing it and say, yes, let's have a quarantine date. Let's meet and social distance and have coffee or have a drink because there's I mean, the public health alert frightened me. I thought it was an Amber Alert. I was like, oh, we doing this? The numbers that high?
Kia McSwain?
I dated a little bit when the quarantine, the shelter in place first started. I think it was because I panicked and was just afraid that I would be alone.
Wow.
But I was immediately annoyed. And so I said, you know what? I'm so thankful that, like Kia Martin said, I don't have children. I don't have a man here eating up all my food every time I go to the store. I can really sit here and focus on me. And as time passed, I did a couple of dating apps, and there are very few black men in Denver. And I just gave up. Like you said, I gave up easily. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna, hopefully I get busy again. And I did.
Deidre, how you handling this quarantine?
Well, I've been handling it. I've been dating. I mean, I'm just like taking a little piece of risk. I'm just thankful to God that I'm still here at this point, because I think during the first shelter in place, I went on a date, had my mask. Um, I've been traveling, like how she said, I got flued out. I mean, I've been dating. I mean, I've been dating, taking my precautions, have my little thermometer in my purse, so I can do my little temperature checks. But I mean, what I've noticed, because I'm like the dating app queen, I've noticed that due to COVID, a lot of people have become more conversationalists. And I think, pre-COVID, people wasn't really like talking that much on dating apps. But now it seems like people, like I was talking with somebody today. People really like having like whole conversations. They're like really responsive. So that's like the positive thing about it. The downside is that I kind of get tired of flipping. It's like, okay, at what point am I gonna find somebody that I really like? No, you don't believe in God? No. You got kids? No. So that's
Mm-hmm.
like, sometimes I just sit up and I'm just thinking like, I done changed my locations from Georgia. I'm trying it on. It kind of get tired at some point. It's like, I'm just like, why am I here? Like, come on, God. At this point, you see me, you hear my cry. Please help me. I'm tired of swiping. So um
Well,
that's just my take on the dating since COVID. I'm trying to figure out who I'm gonna be entangled with for the next wave.
Come on, Entangle.
So trying to make selections right now.
well,
This is like draft.
well, again, I don't want to diminish, what either of you have said, but I mean, you and your, I just know it's timing. I know it's easy said than done, but it's all a matter of time. And I just think, you know, one thing you said earlier, Kia, about being a Southern belle and this whole theology that we've taught of women, you just be seen and not heard and be found. I think it's important that you put yourself in position. You know what I mean? Where are the men? And so I don't think I like the
At
fact
Oak,
that you just not
Atlanta.
sit, huh?
Oh, it's not.
Wait.
Oh, honey, no, ma'am. That is the hood. Do
What you
not
say?
go.
What you say, Deidre?
She said the men at Oak Atlanta. I said, no, ma'am, honey. The men are not at Oak. That is the hood. Don't go.
Well, 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 let me ask you this question: have you ever made the first move with a guy that you're interested in?
Been there, done that.
I don't. But see, when you make the first move, you got to be okay with that tone being set. So typically, like when I'm on a dating app, I let the man talk to me first. I don't care if I like you or not. You need to start the conversation first, because I'm not going to set the tone where I got to keep doing all the first conversations put out there. Now, once we already start talking and I like you, I don't mind like sending a message first, but I'm not going to set the tone where I'm just sitting up, hitting you up all the time. Now, I might give you some indicators that I do like you, like, a little like here, a little ha ha here, a little emoji there, but I'm not going to like always be the one carrying the conversation. I'm not doing that. So, no.
Yeah. Let me ask you these questions. I think it's a great conversation. I've got two or three messages today about my next relationship sermon series, which I think is interesting. We heard Jada Pinkett Smith uh, say today about a situation of entanglement that she got caught up in a couple years ago. Um, and that's somebody who's, in her work, she was going through something in a marriage, and she got entangled with, someone who was much, much younger. And my question is, what does entanglement look like to each of you, and how do you avoid entanglements? What is an entanglement, and how do you avoid entanglements? Because COVID might allow you to get caught up in an entanglement. So I want to hear what you got to say about that. Each one of you. Kia Martin, I start with Kia McSwain. I start with you.
COVID ain't got no power over me and the decisions I make. If you entangling, you are an entangler, and that's what you do. Entanglement for me just looks like something you just don't want to. You don't want no parts of it. If you're smart, you stay away from that because things move fast and they get deep very quickly. And so I try to stay away from entanglements. That's like early 20s stuff.
Kia Martin.
I totally agree, for sure. Entanglements get extremely messy. I'm a bit of an OCD person. Things need order. They have their place. They have their time. And I don't need Shirley calling me my name, not Barbara.
Deidre, how you stay from entanglements?
By not catching feelings like August and getting caught up in the rapture of love.
Woo.
You just can't get feelings. I mean, that's how you get caught in entanglement. To me, entanglement looks like situationships when you know that it's not going anywhere. Entanglements look like trauma bonds. Like,
Mm,
I mean, it's like
wow.
y'all only vibing because y'all both like hurt and hurt people hurt
Mm-hmm.
people. So like that's the only reason why y'all vibe so hard, because both of y'all damaged. Y'all looking
Wow.
for, to be repaired.
Wow.
So
You said trauma
that's a
bonds.
feel like me.
A trauma bond. So what do you say? So what do you say to the young lady right now, or the singer right now, Deidre, who are caught up in a trauma bond, who are entangled? What do you say to them?
Baby, you better go to God. You better get on your knees and start crying out to God to take that pain away from you, honey.
Take me to the throne.
You better take a mental health day from work and lay out on the altar and ask God to deliver you.
Face down.
What,
Baby,
what you
listen.
say?
Wait
What
a
you say,
minute.
Kim? Kim, explain. What do you say to people who caught up in those entanglements, trauma bonds?
They're real. And they're not to be taken lightly. And so if you know better, you need to just make the decision to do better before it gets to the point, like Kia Martin was saying, to where you can't get out. Everybody's not afforded the luxury to leave relationships immediately or when they get ready. But if it's a relationship you have no business jumping in, don't do it. Don't do it. It ain't even worth
Kim
it,
Martin,
sis.
What do you say to the young, to the singles, men and women who are in an entanglement or headed toward one? What kind of advice would you give to them?
I want to speak specifically to the fixers because that's my personality. Um, it's not your cross to bear. You've got to be able to acknowledge what you can, what's repairable. Like Dee said, people are looking to fill a void or to be satisfied for some extent. And if you are one of those people that feels like you can help somebody, but if I just show them, if I just tell them, if I just help them, you're putting yourself in that hole with them. And if they don't have the tools to help you get out, you're gonna get stuck digging a deeper hole with them. And that's where the mess comes from. It's like when your chain gets tied up. If you pull on it too many times, you make a tighter knot. You have to be able to have the correct tools to be able to pull that thing apart and have the eye to be able to see what needs to go which way. And you can't be anxious about it. And when, like Dee said, if you're hurt, you're already anxious. You're already caught up in those moments. You're already affected by that trauma. And that's something serious. I mean, emotionally, physically, and mentally, it hits you. It hits different.
Ladies, this has been latest latest edition again. Y'all have once again dropped a lot of knowledge, a lot of inspiration. Um, I hear your hearts, and I think I'm just so excited about what God has for each one of you. And the Bible talks about sometimes we see through a glass darkly, and sometimes we can't see the whole picture on this end, but it all works out at the end. So I just speak blessings and peace on each of you, and thank you for being who you are. You're incredible examples to singles, to married, to Christian, to old, to young, and I just rejoice and in anticipation for the wonderful things that God has in store for each of you. So Kia Martin, Kia McSwain, DJ Williams, thank you for being a part of Single in the City again of Hope TV. You guys are major inspirations. May God continue to sustain you and keep you throughout COVID-19, to keep you away from any entanglement and anything that tries to destroy and perturb your peace. May God keep you in perfect peace. So thank you for being a part of Single City again for part 2. So thank y'all for sharing today.
Thank
Hey
you.
family, you've been watching Hope TV, this Single in the City. We've been blessed by some powerful sisters who are focused, who know what God has for them, and who are shooting for the stars. And so may their strength be ours. May their tenacity be ours, and may their faith be our faith as well. Hey, I hope you've been blessed by this episode of Single in the City on Hope TV. We're gonna close this show now, but as always, remember this: if you be good to God, then God will be good to you. Until next time, peace. Y'all stay strong. Thank y'all, ladies. Appreciate you.
Bye.